Okay, I guess we can start now. So the first part of public meeting is demoing of the pull request as usual. Are there any volunteers to start to be the first one?
I can give it a try. If I don't know, the first time here, but maybe it will work.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, just a second. I never used the BlueJeans before. Not really familiar.
To share the screen, you will probably be required to install some extension, but it's small and should be downloaded fast if you're using it from browser.
Yeah, using it from browser.
Guys.
Carol.
So, I hope the screen is visible, right?
I see the black screen. Oh, now it's visible, yes.
Okay. Do we have somewhere the task on the board?
Once again?
Do we have somewhere the task? I can't remember what was the issue I fixed.
Yes, I can remind you the number of your pull requests. Give me 1 second. So that's
Images data provider, I found it.
Yeah.
So basically, the request was to create data provider for the images, which gives the ability to get all the images from the pub media directory as a tree. It was the request number 1. Yeah, and that is the outcome. It's a work in progress media gallery UI, which reads the folder from pub media directory. Go for some new image quick. I haven't prepared to do the demo today.
Oh, okay. I can actually. Do you have an issue with environment? I can show the page for you if you would like.
I don't have. I just want to add a new picture that it's really working. To open the recent. So as I explained, it's been in the pub media. Let's say it's going to be customer picture.
I think there are some delays on the network in terms of screen sharing, so just if you can move a little bit slowly through sharing your screen, it will be better.
Okay. I'm just adding the new downloaded picture. Yeah. Have to wait until the indexer is done. I have downloaded a new image and I want to put it into Magento directory. Okay. Is it big delay? Tell me when you see the Magento admin.
Yeah, just saw how you added an image to customer directory inside the media.
Yes. Now I'm back to the Magento and I will update. Yeah, for some weird reason, it's not really visible.
We even don't see the browser actually. Oh, only now. Your internet is very slow.
Maybe someone else can go with the presentation. I will install the application quick.
Yeah, I can show your part as well. I think that there was one issue with the images that were not shown. That was a bit adjusted by Nicholas as well. I don't see Nicholas on the call here. Yeah, but I can basically.
I will prepare better for the next time.
Sorry guys, I had to restart the application to give the permissions for the blue jeans. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically the images content of my media folder. And we decided to just not to replace the media gallery right now, to have a little bit more comfortable space for development at the beginnings of the development of new media gallery. We decided to add the new menu item that is called media gallery development to the menu. And once you access this menu, you can see the actual grid that is in development right now. So Stani have added the data provider that is basically reading the file system and outputting all the images. That is basically a regular UI component data provider that is implementing the UI data provider interface and supplying the images to the masonry grid that is added to this page. And yeah, Nicholas had added another feature to this grid, that is the filter based on directories. So while here is the mockup, how it will look at the end. While these filters should display the directory tree, the first step was just to implement the backend for it and render it as a simple select of all directories. And the next task will be to switch rendering from the select with options to that directory tree. However, if we'll take a look on my file system, yeah, there are just to make sure, are you following my screen sharing? Can you see everything as I'm talking?
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a lot of images in catalog and just a few of them in the test directory, like 5 images. So if I will filter the images by test directory, for example, I will see only 5 images that are from test directory. Yeah, we can try to just move one image away to media and check if it will be updated as a proof of context, as a proof, so we don't have bookmarks here, so the state is not saved. Now we can see only 4 images. Thanks Tani and Nicholas for those first steps of developing the actual functionality of the new media gallery. You can find the code in the Magento Media Gallery UI module. So in the
Media Gallery UI module.
Media Gallery UI module. It's just in Magento namespace. That's right. And in the module directory, listing namespace, there is a data provider that is actually using the images provider that is in file system namespace. And the images provider is scanning the file system and providing all the data. So the listing itself is added to Media Gallery index layout and is declared in UI component directory. There is currently just basic columns and one filter. Yes, thanks Tani, and thanks to Nicholas. I'm not sure if he joined by now or if he will join, but still, his part is that filter. At this stage, I would like also to share the additional tasks that I have added for future improvement of the media directory that we have added. So that's pagination, adding filters, and basically we'll need to add all of the regular UI components that are usually associated with grid, like pagination, sorting, and filters. There is a separate task for each filters that we would like to add. And also we'll need to change the styles of images to be square and show titles and some additional information on the grid. That's our plans for now. Good. Anybody else would like to show their contributions? I know that we had some discussion with Alex recently.
Hi, but what? We had a lot of discussion.
So we moved the configuration, right? I think that's...
I done previous week.
That was merged only 3 days ago. That was merged on Saturday, right? That pull request when the config was moved from asset.
Hi. Yes. Sorry, just I have some problems with the internet also, so this is why I had the delay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm with you. Can you please repeat? Just we're talking about the pull request when we migrated the config to the another service, right?
We removed the config interface from Adobe Stock Asset API and created a service in Adobe Stock Image Admin UI, right? Would you like to share something about it, or would you like me to?
Let me try, but if you will see some problems with the connection, please take a lead on it. 1 second, I will try.
Sure, no problems.
Okay, here my screen. Just okay. Yes, I prepared some pull request. This pull request we talked about when we changed location of the integration config related class. We decided to move this config class from the Adobe Stock asset to the Adobe Stock Image Admin UI module, because it's more suitable to have this service and this module because it's responsible just for this part of application and not for the Adobe asset object. So we decided to keep our implementation as clean and as logical as possible. So, and yep, we just move it and adjust plugins, tests, and all related stuff to it. It was the first one, and also I did some refactoring. Yep, maybe that's all from me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this this will be included in the next release, in the closest release, as it was merged to develop branch. By the way, if you have noticed, I changed the default branch from develop to 1.1 develop. I hope that we merged the last pull request to develop branch, and that is going to the release today. And then we are completely switching to developing for the following release, and the development it will happen in 1.1 develop. There are still some adjustments to Adobe Stock Integration itself, but most of the work is going to be around the new media gallery feature. Thanks, Alex, for making the code for the release better logically and for the refactorings as well.
Thank you.
Any other volunteers? I can see Shankar is on the call. Shankar was working on the important fix for Magento 2 repository, that escape
I can give a demo for my pull request for previous week. I will share my screen right now.
Yes, please.
Are you guys able to see my screen? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I will start with a simple pull request that I made in the previous week, which was regarding the IMS images. Account names are showing very long, and it's really weird. As you show here. Previously, it was visible as like this because the width of the div content of Adobe user is static, like 220 width. That's why we are getting this type of issue. So as I change this to auto, so it does not depends on the length of the name of user Adobe IMS name. So user can have a long name as he can. So this is my first pull request, which is merged in the previous week. And I also started work on creating a service contract for the media gallery for configuration. We just added an enable button. So in the previous pull request, we are missing the service contract for the config. So I have created the config service contract for media gallery UI, and it's just nearly finished. I just as you mentioned, the related as you mentioned the as you review the code and you found some issue, and I just fixed this, and it's ready for a review. And if it's okay, so hopefully it will merge to the develop 1.1. And I also started working on overlay.js with the Jasmine test, and and I have some little bit confusion regarding this. As I started working on this, but not sure it's possible or not. This is my first pull request for the overlay for the JavaScript test. As you can see, the overlay test is run from the Magento root directory. So how can we create a pull request for this issue, for this task? It should be on Adobe Stock or in Magento.
It should be in. So there are two overlay.js components in Magento. One is in Magento right now. One is in Adobe Stock Integration. If you are covering the Adobe Stock
Yes.
Integration override at overlay.js, that should be in Adobe Stock repository. As for concrete location, yeah, I can take a look and advise you after the call. Try to point you how
Yeah,
to
sure.
place it in Adobe Stock Integration.
Yeah, it would be great. Yes, as I can show some demo of my work right now. Actually, I just started covering the test for the init observable method and it's finished for the init observable and started working on update label and get label. It's very difficult to do a JavaScript test with Jasmine because it's very less. We have very less resource for the documentation regarding the Jasmine. Do you guys have any good documentation where we can find how we can do a good how we can write a good JavaScript Jasmine test with required config.js? And it would be great because it's very difficult to do this right now. So I want to create a work in progress PR. So I can confirm that I'm going in the right direction because this is my first PR for the JavaScript related issue test.
Yes, please. Are there any experts in JavaScript Jasmine tests on the call, or guys who had experience with Jasmine tests right now?
Just me not, but I will try to do my best and try to find someone who will just maybe explain me how to do this, because I know that the friends of mine and the friends of mine is usually yes appeared just had experience with this stuff. So let me try to check it, and I will if I will something useful, I will this.
JavaScript's my favorite language, so I've used Jasmine a whole bunch, so I can definitely help with stuff here.
Yeah, thanks, Alex and Phil. I will let you know if I had any issue with the Jasmine test.
I'll look for the PR
and I
check
have.
out a review.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit confused about how I can create a PR in Magento in Magento repository or Adobe repository. Otherwise, I already created a work in progress PR, and I will mention you as a reviewer.
Cool.
And I also, yeah, thanks. I also started working on escape key, which is very started in ages, and it's still in progress. And there are couple of changes that are mentioned by Ladmir just, and I think I just fixed it, and I hope it will fix this issue, and we will merge this PR to Magento repo, and it will also fix the issue in Adobe Stock Exchange, Adobe Stock Integration project. I can show the task. It's this. This is the task. Press escape key confirms the save or license image. The pop-up should be closed, but it's not closing right now. So it's and we found the issue is related to repo. So we have opened the PR and we are working on it. So hopefully it merged in Magento repo. It will fix this issue. That's it from my side. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Shankar. Lots of contributions, and that one that is taken a long time on Magento to repository with escape key. I believe that's very important for both Magento and Adobe Stock Integration. So I will try to ping Vladimir to review review it as soon as possible.
Yeah, he just recently reviewed just about an half an hour ago, and I just again he just added one feedback changes for the PHP doc block like JavaScript doc block, and I just made the as a review changes. I just need to review again, so I hope
Okay,
it will merge in 2 or 3 days. Like,
great. That's
thanks.
nice. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Maybe Adarsh, if you'd like to share some things that you have contributed to the tests
Oh, nothing this week,
recently.
I suppose.
Okay. Yes, still, some work on the tests, on the MFTF tests. We really need this to be stabilized, and yeah, doing some progress there, and that's great.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Konstantin, would you like to share your contribution that you have made on the contribution day in Cologne?
Yeah, but as you remember, that's only PHP unit tests. Another one was my doing for myself. So it was committed by another guy. By the way, is he here in the call?
Nazar, no, he's not on the call right now.
But anyway, then I need to install that application to share screen, so I need some time.
Oh, hello, Elena.
Hello. Sorry, I got pulled out for some internal discussion.
I see. Probably you missed the new media gallery demo. The
Oh, wow.
start.
Really? I'm so sorry.
Okay, Konstantin, are you ready, or you need more time? Okay. In the meantime, we can actually switch back to grooming if nobody else would like to demo the contributions at that time. Once Konstantin will be ready, he can show his contribution after the grooming. So we had basically as the last
Sorry, I
meeting we
was not
had.
able to respond.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready to demo now, or you need more time for preparation?
1 minute maybe to open the pull request, but in general, I am ready.
Okay, then let's go.
So let's try Google Chrome. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that was a ticket. Just hope I opened correctly. Yes, it's that. That's it. So my task was just to cover a data extractor with PHP unit tests. And that was actually my first contribution into Magento core. And in general, that was not something complicated. A very good first task for first experience like this. So here I get this model. This is the test itself, and I am checking each value. So I have a special array which is having all the stuff that we need. So we take a class, we take the interface of the class, or in another case, it's nothing. And we check that if we have inside of the array under ID the value 2, which should be also called by getID in this class. So for example, we have the object with the value getID 2, and as the result of the function data extractor, we should get the array with all such values, and in this case that would be array where but key would be ID and value would be 2. And all checks are made here, and it works. It was a bit more extended before that, but Sergey made it a little bit less. I think because some tests were failing, right? I just don't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you covered more cases. Actually, yeah, Magento static tests were failing because of the method length. Method was too long.
Mm-hmm.
There was a possibility to move the data to separate private functions, but actually those two test cases that are there right now is covering almost all the stuff that 4 previous test cases were covering. As you can see, there is 2 different objects, and one test case is with the interface, another without the interface. So I decided that that's actually enough for this test. So yeah, the method was the data provider method was shortened a bit to comply with the method length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks. That, by the way, that is probably a very good example of unit tests to create. Like it contains all the data in the data provider. It iterates over the test cases from the data provider, and it contains the different combinations of the data. So like different objects and interface supplied or not supplied to the function. Thank you for that.
Not at all.
So basically, it was for me the first experience into Magento with a unit test, as I'm using different testing systems on our project. Yeah, and with the help of the Sergey, I created a massive PHP unit test with it, and which is mocking the file system, which was not really easy, but yeah.
For me, that was also, by the way, a first experience of PHP unit tests in Magento. I was writing PHP unit tests for another system, but not for Magento before.
Well,
Yeah, but still, it takes time to adapt.
Congratulations with your first experiences. I hope you have a good impression from using the PHP testing Magento with unit tests?
To be honest, the expression was like so-so. It's Magento specific.
Okay. Good. Good anyway. So is not bad, right?
Yep, there is still room for improvement.
Yeah, I guess we are open for suggestions, and Adobe Stock Integration project in particular. Okay. Anybody else wants to show something? Stani, you can show your unit test as well if you would like to.
I can try. I just switched to the app. I don't think it was connection issue. Yep. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it looks much faster now.
Okay, very good. I think this one was merged as well. By the way, Sergey, one question. I merged it myself yesterday. I don't know if it was right.
No, that wasn't right. But
Okay, sorry.
you're not able to merge yourself anymore, unfortunately. Sorry for that.
Okay, sorry. Yep. So basically, it's the test for the images provider. Yeah, and I don't know. It's really huge. I don't know what to explain about the test. So basically, there is a data provider, images provider, with the two test cases for the old directories, where I have just mocked two images, and for the subdirectory is a test where I'm mocking only one image. Yeah. I don't really know what to say about the test. Shall I show images provider and then explain, or Sergey?
So basically, you're not mocking the file system here, right? You are using the file system, the actual file system, but you are like
I mocked
supplying the
directory.
paths.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have it as directory in the tests, right? With the images. That
Exactly.
is under the unit tests. And to test the class, you are providing the path to that directory in the unit test, right?
Yep. It's been under app code Magento media gallery UI test. Let's see. Oh, I think I don't have it merged here. Like I said, kind of unprepared because I'm first time. But yeah, there is one subdirectory under a unit test with a couple of subdirectories and images. And I have used the directory to test the logic in the test.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That's I would say that partially in unit partial integration test, because unit test is supposed to mock anything. Here we are working with real directory. So in this part it's integration test, but all the Magento dependencies, all the other classes that are required by test classes are mocked. So in this part, that is a unit test, kind of mixture in this case. Thanks for that. Yeah, I noticed there are PHP docs missing and the license doc block for the test. It would be good to add it. Basically, okay. You was able to merge the test because when I created the 1.1 develop branch, I didn't specify it as didn't restrict it as the develop and the release branch was restricted, but then I enforced this restriction. And right now, only pull requests can be merged to the branch. So in case you would like to update something, you will need to create a pull request.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So are there any network issues like for everybody?
No.
I just see guys reporting some network issues in the chat.
Everything okay in here. Was disconnected, but then I managed to connect it back, so everything fine.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your contributions, for your demos. Let's see if we would like to talk about the future implementations. So last week we had a detailed grooming of the stories for 1.1 version. And if you have reviewed some stories and have some questions, that's the time to raise them. Okay. So then once again, let me go through the stories. Yes. So, Elena, that's our test media gallery grid. Just in case you missed it, it's filterable by directory right now. Not the desired UI at this moment, but yeah.
I mean, it's
the
always
basis.
a huge step forward.
Yes, exactly. So I have created some basic tasks for the milestone 3. I have already show this, but just in more details. So there are a couple of good first issues that are mostly one about their overlapping, so the CSS issue, basically, for the Adobe Stock Integration on the small screens. One issue is about switching between views and color filters. Those issues were added by our QA team today. So the color filter probably has to be added to the state or to bookmarks to make sure that it is compliant with bookmarks, with UI bookmarks component. And being ready for development, we also have several bugs, several MFTF tests that have to be updated to pass. Right now they're failing. And a bunch of tasks for new grid, like render image name next to the image. That requires adding a column and just adjusting styles a bit to be able to render the image name in the grid. And then updating media gallery styles to match the mockups. Basically, just making the images square at the first step. Also a style update. Then there is a task for including the overlay component as well on the media gallery. So the ability to render this unlicensed overlay for images that are downloaded from Adobe Stock and are not licensed, the preview versions of the images. Then there is a task for adding pagination and tasks for adding filters. That should be mostly just XML. Well, the pagination can be added using just XML modification. The filters probably will require some backend implementation as well. So that's it from me. Anybody has any questions or any suggestions, recommendations?
I have.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry, maybe I just missed something, but you talked about the media gallery. You mean this new media storage service or just Adobe Stock Integration?
Well, media gallery, right now I'm using the media gallery term to refer to the new media gallery UI that we are developing.
Okay, nice. Just, but then I have a question about this implementation with the reading all files from the Pub Media Gallery. I have an opinion, maybe just, but need to test it, that maybe we can have some performance problem, because imagine the situation when you have about 100 or 1,000 images. Maybe this will take time to render them all. Maybe we can somehow limit maybe this.
But we are going
process.
to use pagination. There will be pagination.
Yes, but okay, we can use pagination, but anyway, you will need to read any file from the media gallery to get the amount of those files and so on. I'm talking only about this because I think that everything should be fine, but I am super afraid of any performance issue when we have a deal with the file system, because file system is not a database. So this is why I have this question. Maybe I can just test it. I can take my photos for this year and just put it in the media gallery and try to see will we have any performance degradation or not.
Are we going to read from the file system every time the user opens the media gallery, or we are going to like fetch? Okay.
Yes.
Because I mean, there are different like options to approach that. We can fetch all of the images and save their information in the database on that, and periodically on some like cron job run that check and update that.
I thought when I firstly saw this implementation, I thought about the MView. Magento has an excellent functionality of this, and maybe we can create some trick. For example, when you add new image to the media gallery storage, up to this pub, I don't know, we maybe somehow can save information about it somewhere, but this make this implementation a little bit difficult because we had to catch a lot of events, and we cannot rely on add or delete images from the database. Maybe I think we can use some external service or implementation to read files quickly from it. So maybe I am talking about nothing at this moment, and my fear doesn't have any ground. But let's maybe check this and see what will we have performance issue or not. For example, I can test this this week with maybe huge amount of photos.
Well, I guess the pagination should really play a big role in the performance. In terms of we are iterating over images, we can stop our iteration based on pagination, and the performance will definitely be different. The other question is, to display the number of files in total, like we are displaying total search results, we really will need to count all the files in the file system. And that operation either should be optimized or indexed as you proposed, saving to database. However, saving to database is something that is kind of not the best from the user point, from the usability point of view, as it will be updated. So the instant updates will not be possible, and considering that even right now, when we demo in our files, we are basically moving files in the file system without using the media gallery, so we will not be able to handle such updates using plugins. Yeah, and the third option will be just not displaying the total amount of images that we have.
At all, or like at initial load? And add that calculation later on when we get that, like load that information asynchronously.
Yeah, we can load this asynchronously. That's the fourth option.
I mean, based on my understanding, if we save the number of images in database, we are going to use this number only to display the total number of images in the grid, like this number. This is the only way we are going to use this. And from the usability perspective, I think it's okay if that number is not like super precise, because it just like gives you an idea like how many pages you have, right? So it's just like to understand the overall size of your media gallery rather than like explicit count.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we can do that. Like indexing. Yeah, we really have to go through all possible optimization things that can be applied here. If we are okay with updating the resource-consuming parts not instantly, but with delays, it will help a lot with the optimization.
Yeah, I mean, if we load that information asynchronously, I think it's acceptable. So the main use case would be like, we need to make sure that the main use case, like this, display the like initial page and initial results, like the first page of images is the most critical, then just display the number of total images found.
Yeah. One thing that has to be tested from performance point of view, by the way, is iterating through directories. Like, cause even if we can display the limited number of images on the first page, we still need all the directories from the media gallery for the directory filter. So we have to iterate over all the folders, and that's, yeah, we have to check the performance of that as well. And maybe, so if we are going to index such things, then probably we'll need to provide some control for the user, for admin or for developer, to control this index as well, like to reindex on demand.
Like ad hoc reindexing?
Like a button or like a Magento CLI command to do that. Well, for sure, yeah, that probably will be done.
Yeah, makes sense.
In some periods of time by cron, but still that control will be useful. Yeah, we'll think what we can do. Alex, thanks for your initiative for measuring the performance. It will be really helpful.
Yeah, I have some idea, and just we can discuss it later.
Yeah, it would be nice to collaborate over that performance area of the file system management.
Okay, so we can set up a meeting later, and I will describe what thoughts I have about this, because I had some experience with indexing, and maybe my experience can help the project to be more performance.
Okay, thank you. Anybody
Thank you.
would like to join this call and the discussion on performance? Okay, just let me know if you would like to.
When is it gonna be?
We'll set it up just together when.
Okay, well,
Would you like?
maybe we can put in the Slack channel and people interested will join.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll do this. Nice suggestion. Thanks, Ro. Okay, any other concerns or questions? Good. Then thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for participating in the project. And see you next week. We have the public meetings every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Dublin time. And meantime, if any concerns or questions will arise, just post them to the Adobe Stock channel in the Slack. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.